continues to be the cradle of entrepreneurial activity. That is, this is the country that has a right combination of political and economic freedom to create entrepreneurs like no other country in the world, no matter what Moody's says, right?
Yeah, I just came from an advanced equities conference in California where innovation is greater than I've ever seen it in my lifetime.
And you've written a number of books on innovation and the chips.
And then I went to Needham Conference in New York, 500 companies, mostly public companies, with more powerful, innovative stories than I've ever heard before. This country is effervescent with creativity. They are companies that act globally around the world, and the crucial danger to them is the possibility of xenophobia, resistance to high-skilled immigration, and protectionism. That's the threat to the U.S.
So Peter Schiff, look, I know how pessimistic you are about the dollar, the value of the currency, etc., and I think a lot of us would agree with you that it has been debased unnecessarily in the past number of years, but still, there is something different about the United States that creates this spirit of enterprise that you don't find anywhere else.
No, that's not true. There used to be something different about us. It doesn't exist anymore. You know, Steve, when you talked about us borrowing money, a deficit for 400 years, you're wrong. When we were first starting out as a nation, we did borrow money from wealthier nations to invest, to build factories, to build infrastructure. That's how you get rich. You borrow to invest. But what we've been doing recently is we've been blowing money. We've been borrowing to consume. We've dissipated wealth. We've spent ourselves into poverty. No, we're not the low-tax, low-regulation country we used to be.
Hold on, Peter. Go ahead, Steve.
Last I looked, at the end of the third quarter, consumers in this country had financial assets net of $30 trillion.
No, we're broke,
Throw in
Steve.
housing, $50 trillion.
Steve, we
if
can't
$50 trillion of net assets is going broke, give me more of it.
And George Gilder, the fact is that there are a lot of people working in their basements, working with companies that are still inventing things that eventually will come on the market and people will buy them, correct?
Hold on. That's right. And that's what will determine whether we can supply the baby boomers with health care 20 years from now. It's the utter transformation of the U.S. economy and the global economy during that period. Tens of trillions of dollars, new wealth, tens of trillions of dollars all around the world will be generated. What will determine whether this money ends up in the United States is whether we have low tax rates, freedom,
Peter, you know, what you're doing, you're making a fatal mistake, I think, Peter, in my humble opinion. Hold on a second. What you're doing is mistaking wealth for riches. You're right. Some of our riches have depleted because we got off the gold standard, a lot of other things, but we still have wealth, which is the capacity to create something new. We have that spirit. We haven't lost it, Peter.
No. Well, how come, you know, you can go back. I've been coming on these shows for 3 or 4 or 5 years. Every single prediction I've made about the dollar, about commodities, about oil, about housing, about mortgages, everything I've said has pretty much panned out the way I've said it. I don't think I'm mistaken on anything.
And
I think I have this whole situation
George
nailed.
Gilder has written books about how the microchip would progress in ways which turned out to be exactly true.
It's got nothing to do with the economic fundamentals or the rotten shape our economy is in.
It has to do with our country, and there is something
but he hasn't been right on these markets.
There is something intangible about the way this country works, a combination of freedom, economic liberty that creates wealth and creates enterprise, even though, as you're right, some of our riches may be drawn down at different points.
No, we are in serious shape. If our economy was in good shape, the dollar would be rising. It wouldn't be falling.
All right.
We'd have a current account surplus. We'd have a trade surplus.
The Federal Reserve learned central banking. They should read a book, Central Banking for Dummies. They need a new lesson.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, they help debase our money and destroy our economy.
Well, they did debase the money.
All right. I think everybody agrees that the Fed's made some terrible mistakes and that the dollar, by the way, if we had linked the dollar to gold, as Steve was once suggesting about 15 years ago, oil would be about $30 a barrel. So
no, it would be $3.60 a barrel.
There you go. It depends when you linked it. So I think we all agree with that, Peter, but the question is America's future. We think it's secure because it's still strong.
It's
you
not
don't.
strong. It's a facade. It's a house of cards, and it's about to cave in. You got to read my book,
We have to agree to disagree on that point.
How long has he been saying this, by the way?
I've been right.
I mean, I've been debating people saying exactly the same thing all through the 80s, all through the 90s, and now again. It's just they keep always the United States is going down the drain.
Go
We're
on YouTube. Watch my clips.
Polishing the shoes of the Japanese about now.
I've had this thing pegged for the beginning.
All right, we're gonna leave it with that with Peter Schiff's peg. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate you coming on. George Gilder, Steve Forbes, great to see you as well.
Thank you, David.
Coming up on deck, the winners and losers in the countrywide financial deal power rankings when Scoreboard continues.